So, how does a city bounce back from something as massive as a global pandemic? Well, in Derby, England, the answer wasn't just about economics or new policies. It was about art. And more specifically, it was about unleashing a herd of giant, colorful rams onto the city streets to literally rebuild a community.
Just try to imagine this for a second. You're stepping out of lockdown, and suddenly, your city, which had been so quiet and empty, is now the stomping ground for 30 enormous, fantastically decorated ram sculptures. That's exactly what greeted people in the summer of 2021. Each ram was a totally unique piece of art, turning the entire city center into this amazing, free, open-air gallery.
Okay, but why rams? And how on earth did this kind of quirky idea become such a powerful tool for renewal? Well, this was no accident. The Derby Ram Trail was a meticulously planned project, one that tapped into a legend that's hundreds of years old. So let's break down exactly how they pulled this off, the incredible history behind it, and the huge impact it had.
First up, a city of rams. Because to really get the impact, you have to appreciate the sheer scale of this thing. This wasn't some small gallery show tucked away somewhere. This was a citywide phenomenon.
That's how many visitors the trail attracted: 120,000 people. I mean, after months of being told to stay apart, this project gave everyone a reason to come back together, to explore their city, and to see it in a completely new light.
So here are the nuts and bolts that made it all work. You had 30 unique sculptures scattered across the city. This created a completely free discovery trail that ran all summer long. But the mission, the real core idea, was clear. This was designed to bring people back, to get them supporting local businesses, and, maybe most importantly, to help them reconnect with each other. Now, to understand why this idea resonated so deeply with people, we have to go way, way back. Because this isn't just a modern art project. It's actually the latest chapter in a story that's been told for centuries, the legend of the ram.
These lyrics, they come from a traditional English folk song called The Derby Ram. And it's a classic tall tale, right? A funny, larger-than-life story about a ram of absolutely gargantuan proportions. We're talking about a ram so big its wool reached the sky and eagles were nesting in its fleece. This song, this is the key to everything.
So the song itself is this great piece of local folklore, just a bit of fun about this mythical beast that was supposedly taken to Derby Market. But over time, this silly story became something so much more. It actually became a symbol of the city itself. And you can see how its influence just grew over the centuries. It was already famous by the 1700s. It even traveled across the Atlantic. George Washington himself is said to have sung it. By 1855, the local militia had officially made the ram its mascot. And of course, today, anyone who follows English football knows Derby County FC simply as the Rams. This isn't just some animal. It's the city's identity woven into its very fabric. Okay, so we've got the legend, but how do you actually turn an old folk song into a massive citywide art installation? Well, as it turns out, it takes a huge collaborative effort to build the herd. And the process they came up with was pretty ingenious. First, local businesses would sponsor a blank, life-sized fiberglass ram sculpture. Think of it like a giant 3D canvas. Then, artists from all over were invited to submit their design ideas. The sponsors got to sift through all these amazing creative proposals and pick the one they loved for their ram. Finally, the chosen artists were commissioned to bring their vision to life, hand-painting every single sculpture. To actually guide people around, the project cleverly blended the old with the new. For the traditionalists, there were 30,000 printed maps, but they also went high-tech with a free interactive app. And this thing wasn't just a map on your phone. You could actually collect each ram as you found it, unlock little bits of Derby's history they called artifacts, and even experience these cool augmented reality surprises that brought some of the sculptures to life. All right, so we've seen how they did it, but what was the real impact here? Because it goes so far beyond just having some pretty statues on the street. This is where a fun city trail connects to the powerful, proven effects that public art can have on a city. And you know, the success of a project like the Ram Trail isn't just a nice feeling you get. It's actually something that can be systematically understood. Academic research has identified the very specific ways that public art makes a tangible, measurable difference in cities and in people's lives. In fact, researchers have broken it down into these 8 key areas, and you can see how the Ram Trail just nails so many of them. You've got placemaking, literally turning the streets of Derby into a unique destination. Culture, reviving a centuries-old folk song for a whole new generation.
We've seen the innovation in their awesome use of augmented reality. And as we're about to see, the impact on the economy, society, and personal well-being was just profound. It's a perfect case study.
Let's start with the one that's easiest to measure, money. Because public art isn't just a cost. It's an investment that can generate a really serious return, both for the city and for its cultural institutions.
And here is the proof. After the trail ended, all 30 rams were auctioned off. The auction itself raised an incredible £172,000. But then, thanks to match funding, that total was doubled to over £340,000, with every penny going to support Derby museums and secure their future. That is a massive economic impact. But the impact isn't just financial, not by a long shot. It's about bringing people together and improving their quality of life. At a time when everyone felt so isolated, the trail actively fostered social connection and a sense of well-being. This quote from someone who walked the trail, it just says it all, doesn't it? The sculptures became these natural conversation starters. They broke down social barriers, getting total strangers to interact, to share what they'd found, and to actually talk about art. That's such a powerful social outcome. It's community building in its absolute purest form.
So what happens when the party's over? Well, the trail officially ended in August 2021, but its legacy is far, far from temporary. You see, many of the rams found permanent new homes where the public can still go and enjoy them. You've got the Nurse Nightingale Ram at the Royal Derby Hospital, others at the City Council and local businesses. These sculptures have become permanent landmarks, a lasting reminder of that really special summer.
And the digital trail? That continues too. The project lives on through a legacy app, so you can still walk the original route and use your phone to see a 3D virtual model of each ram pop up right where it once stood. The whole experience is preserved, and it's accessible to anyone at any time. The Derby Ram Trail proves that public art can be so much more than just decoration. When it's really rooted in a place's identity, it can bring people together, it can boost the economy, and it can create a legacy that lasts. And it kind of leaves you wondering, doesn't it? What unique story is just waiting to be told on the streets of your own city?